You know, a lot of people have asked a few questions about the welfare of animals during translocations or during collarings or any time we really put our hands on them. And I will say that the greatest focus of the vet team, the greatest focus of the conservationists is first and foremost the safety of the people and the safety of the animal. And secondly, right behind that, just the welfare of that animal, to make sure that animal is comfortable, as little stress as possible. Indeed, there's no point in doing these things if the animal ends up being too stressed to be healthy afterwards. And so, you know, things like an elephant translocation, you think those animals are going to be, in some cases, sitting in the back of a truck while it does 1,000-kilometer journey. So making sure that there's regular stops, to make sure that you wet them if it's hot, to make sure that things are just good in the back there. Generally, if it's kept dark and if the animals are moving, they seem to stay pretty quiet. And so even with giraffe, it's pretty interesting because they get very relaxed very quickly. So we'll put them in a boma scenario, which is an enclosure. Make sure that they're used to human contact. Make sure that they're used to the smells and the sounds. And a few days before the big journey, they'll very often make sure that, you know, there's tractor sounds, or they'll leave the truck running so that the giraffe get used to those sounds. We'll then back the truck up to the boma and make sure that they're used to walking in and out of the truck while it's running and so on. So when it comes to travel day, with their heads sticking out of the top of the truck, as some of you have seen on our social media feeds, those giraffe are actually pretty relaxed. And so then it's up to the driver to drive very carefully and very slowly and make sure that they can stay standing. Now remember, a giraffe is not an animal that lies down anyway, but they do get tired of consistently balancing. So, you know, a few stops along the way is a very healthy thing to do. But first and foremost, the safety and the comfort of these animals, because there's no point transporting an animal if it's not going to be healthy when it leaves that truck. There's no point in doing something to an animal for conservation that is going to result in that animal having some long-term bad effects. So safety for the people, safety for the animals, and then welfare and comfort for those animals while you undertaking whatever procedure it is always in the forefront of our minds. And that's why there's always a vet there. There's always a very well qualified team. And so, yeah, conservation is hard. Conservation requires at times great discomfort for an animal. But as long as every measure is taken to keep all the people and the animals safe, I think that the data that we get from it and the conservation results that come from these things is certainly worth it. Drop me a few comments. Let me know what you think.